So as I was saying, what we are planning to do is to take all of these different types of therapy and translate them into delivery straight into people's homes using various forms of tech. But that will include things like video conferencing as well as other forms of tech. So the way we plan to do this is to look at the evidence base for the use of telerehabilitation in different therapy types, and then to do something which we call a task analysis. Now that analysis looks at each therapy type, looks at the clinical interactions that are going on within that, and then maps it across to the type of technology that's needed. So in terms of the evidence base, we have some systematic reviews that have gathered together the evidence base for using telepractice or telerehabilitation. And over the years, these systematic reviews have included more and more studies, with the latest one here in 2019 actually including 31 articles. But of course that was across all adult areas. We also have some evidence now that we can do group therapy via telepractice. So this is some work that was done by Dr. Rochelle Pitt, who developed TeleGain. She went through a series of studies in which she specifically developed this group therapy for delivery via telepractice. She trialed it and did a series of qualitative studies as well. So this used multi-point video conferencing. She used Adobe Connect because it had interactive tools and enabled her to actually use the communication supports to enable all of the people with aphasia, and they had a variety of severities, allowed them to participate fully. Some of the qualitative evidence that's come from this work shows us that people with aphasia really value being able to connect with other people with aphasia. They felt as though they were welcoming people into their home, in fact. So there was this real personal connection. And we heard that a little earlier about the virtual groups that are happening all over the world, that people feel really connected through this particular medium. We were also delighted to see that the speech pathologists who provided this TeleGain felt that they were able to develop the rapport that they needed, and that they had the tools that enabled them to provide this therapy in a really effective way. We also have some evidence for the delivery of delayed aphasia telerehabilitation. So there's some very early work using the step-by-step system. There's some more recent work using constant therapy, and then some even more recent work that looks at the development of aphasia apps for delivery in more acute sort of settings. So now I'm going to go on to the task analysis part of this. And this isn't particularly difficult. It's just a case of really mapping out the who, what, when, and where of this new style of service delivery. So who's going to receive the actual services and who's going to deliver them? It may be that you're not actually delivering the service to the patient themselves, but it might be to a communication partner or other family. So what is the service that's actually going to be provided? Is it one-on-one therapy, group therapy, counselling? When is the service going to be provided? Is it real time or delayed? Working hours, or is there an element of doing this after hours? And where is the service going to be provided to? So are you going directly into somebody's home, or are you going into a ward? Quite simply, we put this into a table where we just map out the who, when, where. When it comes to the what, we have to delve a little bit further into what is being seen and heard and what is being done. And this delves further into the task analysis. So the task analysis, again, is not anything tricky or new. It's just developing a table, thinking about what each of the possible tasks are, and then for each of those, looking at the interaction that needs to happen. So is it real time through video conferencing? What does the client need to see? Is it text or images? Perhaps it's video. And what are you needing the client to actually do? Are they going to respond verbally? Are you going to be asking them to type or to select something? And only at that point can you then look at what the technical functions are that you need to enable that. So this is an example of the task analysis that Dr. Rochelle Pitt did for some of her tele-gain work. And again, you can see here that it's really just breaking it down to the point where you are really thinking through what that technical function is that you need. We have a PhD student who is doing this work currently for telechat, and she's developed this spreadsheet which breaks it down even further. So she maps it from the actual interaction within that task, what is being shown, what needs to be prepared, what technical functionality you need, what the response is that you're looking for, and what the technical functionality for that is. And so you move across this table and eventually you can start to list out the technology that might enable each of these tasks to be done. So really, it's very important to start with the client, in fact. So the who, what, when, and where, moving through to what that interaction is, and then only at that point looking at what the tech is. I truly believe that starting with the tech first and trying to retrofit is not going to give us the best options. Of course, once you have the telerehabilitation service developed and in place, you then need to make sure that it's actually meeting the goals that you have. So you'd want to ensure that you're getting the clinical outcomes that you desire, service outcomes as well, consumer satisfaction, and of course, any health service would want to know what the economics of this new service delivery is. So that's the end of my talk. Thank you very much.